On this episode of Small Town Big Deal, just when we think we've seen it all.
So instead of a tractor pulling the sled, you pull the tractor.
Then crowning a new national champion in a competition that involves a fruit you just can't go without. And it's all in honor of a unique Top Gun of buns. Easy to enjoy, but hard to pronounce.
Kolacky. 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 Welcome to Small Town Big Deal. I'm Rodney Miller.
And I'm Jan Carl. And this week, we really mean it when we say you should check out the show.
That's because we're in Montgomery, Minnesota, a town rich in Czech heritage. And 1 weekend a year, they really know how to celebrate it.
And they do it not just by breaking bread, but by baking bread.
And lots of it. So you start with dough, a lot of dough. Then you roll it, slice it, top it, and fold it into a nice little package of a perfect pastry.
After it gets brushed with milk to help with browning, it goes for a few turns in the oven. And after all that, you get this, a delicacy called, well, the pronunciation depends on who you ask.
Kolacky.
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 Kolachkis?
I think it might actually be against the law to say Kolacky.
Kolacky.
My grandparents used to say Kolachki.
Kolachki or Kolachki?
Kolachki.
Kolachki.
Yep.
Okay, that settles it. We're going with the expert's pronunciation. Frankie's Bakery is famous for its kolachkis. And if they say kolachkis, we say kolachkis.
Our family has been making kolachkis since 1914 when my grandpa came to Montgomery to start our bakery.
Wow,
This is
long.
third generation right now. Our parents owned the bakery for 53 years out of the 105.
Frankie's is an institution in the town of Montgomery, Minnesota, which is about 45 miles south of Minneapolis-St. Paul with just under 3,000 in population. And many of them, like the Frankie family, who've run this bakery for over a century, can trace their heritage to Europe, to what is now the Czech Republic and Slovakia.
Grandpa came from Czechoslovakia, or the Moravian part of Czechoslovakia.
That's where these yummy buns called kolachkis were invented.
Does aroma have calories? Because if so, I'm in big trouble in here.
Kolachkis are at the heart of this small town's biggest event and the longest running festival in the state of Minnesota, Kolache Days.
It all started back in 1929 as a way to celebrate the town and its Czech heritage. Over the years, the town has seen generations of celebration. Kolachki parades, Kolachki queens and their courts, and road races, probably to run off all those Kolachki calories. Somewhere along the line, Montgomery claimed the title of Kolachki capital of the world.
Can you explain to people the connection between Montgomery and Kolachki?
It seems like it is kind of goes hand in hand. It's just been forever that everybody knows us as the Kolache capital of the world.
Kolache Days attracts thousands of people, and running out of kolachkis is unthinkable. So generations of Frankies pitch in to bake enough to go around.
Whole family comes home, and we call it our mandatory family bonding. Had like 32 people in the family, and we're all here some point during the festival.
In a normal week, Frankie's Bakery might sell 3,000 to 4,000 kolachkis, but during Kolache Days, they sell about 18,000 to 20,000.
The more traditional flavors are the prune, poppy seed, and apricot, but the raspberry seems to be picking up, and every once in a while we make special flavors, like jalapeno cream cheese, strawberry cream cheese, or throw some blueberry in once in a while.
We decided to check out the art of kolachki crafting ourselves with the help of kolachki guru Gene Frankie.
Just stick 4 sides and pull.
The 4 sides?
Like that?
Yes, perfect. Oh, look it. Now these, oh no, wait a minute. Not allowed, not allowed.
Go wash your hands.
Who knew you can't lick your fingers? Always lick my fingers when I'm cooking.
And then kind of
Yep, push down. And then take your other 2 corners,
pull, and then
pull one in, and then pull the other one over.
All worst up.
Look at there.
Like that? No, mine's lopsided. Because it's supposed to be kind of square, right?
Yep. Try another one without licking your fingers.
Yeah.
That gets a little hard.
Yeah, I know.
It looks so good. I think I really could eat this.
I can smell it. It's the raspberry.
It's kind of like folding a baby's diaper, sort of, a little bit.
That's what my dad used to say. You know, they're actually looking pretty good for first-timers.
So it's time to put the milk on?
The next step is a little milk
Dab a little bit on there.
Just a little bit.
and some time to rise.
Now it goes in the steam box.
And these handcrafted bundles bake up into gobs of golden goodness.
So here you go.
All
Hot
right.
off the press for you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that is good. The dough is so fluffy.
105 years of experimenting to get it this way.
I wasn't going to eat it all, but I can't stop eating.
I was always going to eat it all.
Welcome back to Small Town Big Deal.
Before the break, we asked you about how much did the world's largest kolache weigh? If you said C, you're right. The record-breaking cherry-filled giant pastry weighed 2,605 pounds and measured 15 feet in diameter.
We're in Montgomery, Minnesota, where the streets are bright and shiny with colorful cars. This classic car display is part of their annual Kolache Days.
I mean, all the red ones are so cool.
Isn't that the car that you most get a speeding ticket in?
So.
A red one?
Another vintage lineup featured snowmobiles, not a display you see every day, but we are in snow country. A few of these were even made by tractor companies.
And while the collectible cars and snowmobiles have that cool factor, you can't celebrate Montgomery's past without honoring those who first settled this land.
Montgomery is in LeSueur County, Minnesota, which is home to over 1,000 farms. Many have been in the same families for generations, since immigrants settled this area in the 19th century.
My great-great-grandfather came over from Czechoslovakia as a 17-year-old and homesteaded, and then this farm was bought by my grandpa, and then my dad got it, and I still haven't left home. This is where I was born and raised, and I took over the dairy and crop farm.
Francis Renda is keeping the family farming tradition going, with help from his own family.
One more wheelbarrow on that side, then.
It's clear the Rendas take a whole lot of pride in what they do.
You need a doctor when you get sick. You need an attorney or somebody to do your taxes, you know, once a year or something like that. But you do need a farmer 3 times a day. You eat 3 times a day.
Francis notes a direct link between what goes on in the countryside and the feasting that's going on in Montgomery this weekend with Kolache Days.
Kolaches are made out of bread, which is wheat, and then the fruit fillings that get put in there. Your food is grown on a farm, and kolaches are food.
Now, one of the fruits Francis is talking about, which is often baked inside a kolache, prunes.
All right, everybody's got their prune?
And if you've ever been that kid who got tired of being told not to play with your food, have we got a contest for you.
And spit as far as you can, okay?
Welcome to the National Prune Spitting Championship.
There you go.
Well, actually, they're probably the only prune spitting championship.
Not bad.
First up, the junior division.
Do you guys know what a prune really is? No? What, and you're going to put it in your mouth and you don't know what it is?
You know, these came from over at the livestock barn.
No, they did not.
It's a plum. It's kind of a dried up plum.
Even if dried plum sounds less scary than prune, I still think the kids would rather spit them out than eat them. And there's another wrinkle, prunes roll. But that counts when calculating distance. Who knew?
15 too. So that takes a lot of courage for these little kids to do it because they never eat a prune.
They don't like prunes.
And they don't like prune. Toes behind the line.
Of course, grown-ups have a better understanding of just what prunes can do. But in Montgomery, they brave the much-maligned fruit and its potential side effects, all for the sake of sport.
Okay, so you ready? Some of the rules.
Then it was my turn to pucker up and project a prune.
And then it says event organizers and sponsors shall not be held responsible for the after effects of prunes swallowed by any contestant. Okay, my first attempt, that was the pits.
All right, Rodney, you're up.
Official prunes will be provided. No one will be permitted to use their own prunes. Did you bring your own prunes?
No.
So you're good?
I don't have a favorite prune to spit.
Okay.
So.
Oh!
Every competitor gets 2 chances to fling the fruit as far as it will fly.
Plum.
Yeah!
Beat that, Milla!
I'm never going to beat that.
Hey, watch your toe, man.
Okay, my goal was just to beat Jan, and I didn't do it.
All right.
19-2.
19-2. That's pretty good for your
That's
first time.
pretty good. I would have beat last year's record holder.
I thought she would be windy enough.
You're David? All right,
Competitor David Turley from New York City offers an inspiring lesson in prune perseverance.
On my first round, it was bad. Weak. But I noticed everyone, what they were doing, they were putting the prunes in, they were wetting it a little bit, and then they were cocking their head.
Oh.
And then, doing the projectile prune.
On his second attempt, he launches a prune for the ages.
Watch out! Mark it!
I'm actually really excited now to be a spokesperson for the sport and bring this back to New York City, where we're going to be doing prune spitting contests in Central Park, I think.
Oh, in Central Park.
Maybe Yankee Stadium. Let's take this,
To the next level.
Yeah.
New record! 30 feet, 10 inches! By David!
That's the spirit, proud projectors. Today, Montgomery, Minnesota. Tomorrow, the world.
When we come back, what are nice girls like these doing in a tractor pool like this?
And we answer the question, how fast can a person eat 6 prune Kolachkis? And what about those after effects?
You're watching Small Town Big Deal.
We're at Kolache Days in Montgomery, Minnesota. And it's time for the parade. Following in the marching boots of generations of bands and riding in the wake of floats that have rolled before, the Kolache Queen and her court preside over the parade.
If you wait a few minutes at any point along the parade route, or pretty much anywhere else in Montgomery this weekend, you're sure to hear the unofficial soundtrack of Kolache Days, the polka.
People in Bohemia, now part of the Czech Republic, invented the polka in the early to mid 1800s. During Kolache Days, dancers perform polkas and other dances that reflect the area's heritage.
We do dances from Bohemia, Moravia, and Slovakia, polkas and waltzes, but we also do mazurkas and chadishes. It's very joyful.
Hey, look, our producer John joined in.
Yeah, good job, John.
3, 2, 1, go, go, go.
Another Czech tradition takes center stage, the Kolache eating contest.
Rodney and I decide to get in the running.
How's the TV people doing? The guy's smiling too much. You gotta eat.
We each get a 6-pack of Kolache, pruned Kolache.
So I was pretty excited that last year's winner wasn't here, but then his little brother with the high metabolism is.
The brother of the defending champions only got 1 left.
Is that your second one?
And my top priority in the Kolache eating contest, beating Rodney. And I did.
You on your third one? This is one competition. I didn't mind losing.
Oh, we gotta win! Oh my God! The skinniest, youngest guy up here.
We didn't exactly give anybody a run for their money.
You only ate 1.5?
But then we hear there's still one Kolache Days contest left, and it's something I have a lot of experience with, a tractor pull.
Pull hard against the rope.
But then we realize something's not quite normal.
So I've been to hundreds of tractor pulls across America and participated in a few. I was always driving a tractor, never pulling one.
Go!
This event is called the Bohemian Tractor Pull.
Faster, faster!
How do you describe the Bohemian tractor pull?
Well, a lot of times you say Bohemians are backwards, So instead of a tractor pulling the sled,
That's funny.
you pull the tractor.
Mike Booted and his 3 sons have been pulling together for 3 years in a row.
It's been fun. We're talking about little guys and trying to teach them to get together as a team, as a family thing. You know?
Yeah,
Do it together.
We cheer for the teams of kids, teams of women, teams of men, teams of firefighters. And check out the Kolache Queen and her princesses, wearing dresses and tiaras while pulling a tractor.
Golly, I'm pretty impressed.
Well, if royalty can deign to pull a tractor...
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm not. Okay, good. Good luck. See ya.
You're going with me.
we can put our shoulders to the wheel. Especially if we get a little extra help from our executive producer, Roger, and our new friend, Mike.
Mike and Roger are probably doing most of the pulling, but Jen and I are having fun.
I'm just telling myself, just don't fall. Just don't fall. I pulled a muscle.
Did you really?
In my arm.
Was it harder than you thought?
In the beginning, but then you just feel like you're running away from the tractor.
You just run as hard as you can.
I did. I think I pulled a muscle.
The reigning Bohemian tractor pull champs are these guys, the Crotch Hogs. 4 family farmers who won 7 years in a row. Make that 8 years in a row, and actually 10 wins out of 11 years.
So the Crotch Hogs, they win almost every year, right?
They do, and you know, they're a small town group of guys that are, you know, a family farm, which is great to see, and that's why I started doing it, because I saw them guys and I said, hey, you know what? Maybe in a few years when they get home, we can maybe finally beat them.
That's right, and you'll have the technique down, and you're growing your own team.
That's right, that's right.
Homegrown, hometown fun. That's what Kolache Days are all about. We'll be right back.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Small Town Big Deal.
You know, we want to thank Montgomery, Minnesota and Kolache Days for bringing us all a lot of firsts, I know for us.
Yeah, like the first tractor pull where people actually pull the tractor.
Yeah. Never seen that before. Our first prune spitting competition.
And we ate our first Kolachkis.
That's right. I mean, we ate a lot of Kolachkis.
Yeah.
What's great is in America, you never know what you're going to find around the corner or happening on any given weekend.
I'm Rodney Miller.
I'm Jan Carl.
Join us again next week when once again we celebrate the great stories from across America.
So Roger, our executive producer, has dough in his hand. He's going to throw it at me. Oh! See, I told you. These are like children.
And once again, Jan out-eats me. Always lick my fingers when I'm cooking. Both times.
I did not know you got paid. I got second place. I'm so
would you have done it differently if you knew you'd been paid?
No. No.